Hey everyone, it's me, Tamara Brown. Who am I? I am an author, blogger, website designer, as well as a publishing consultant and the host of Blah Diaries, Broke, Lonely, Angry, and Horny. So today I want to talk about something, and it's important. I know I say that a lot, but it is. I want to talk about the downside, the two difficulties of regret and resentment. And so I know a lot of people are going to think that I'm talking about regret of things that we did in the past, but what about the regret of things we didn't do in the past? So let me just be a little bit transparent. I've been a parent since I was 7. Right? No, I didn't have sex and well, that happened too, but in this case, I've always been the caregiver. Whether it was my mother, whether it was my siblings, I am the oldest. So from a very young age, I was taught to sacrifice my wants, my needs, and my desires from the age of 7. Didn't matter what I wanted to do. No matter what, I had to be the responsible one because usually people figure that out. So anyway, I decided to be I was the responsible one, and there was things that I didn't get to do. I didn't always get to go outside and play with my friends. All right. As I got older, I had an aunt that depended on me. Even though she took care of me, she didn't go outside very much. So I went and I paid her bills. I went and I got her wine. So I would meet up with the winos that was outside. She'd be like, go to so-and-so and go get me a fifth of wine. Give them the money and then they're going to give you the wine. And I'm telling you, I probably should have been in probably foster care or something like that. But it happened because I will not knock her because she had things going on. And emotionally, she was dealing with depression. And it wasn't diagnosed. And I didn't know that then, but I know that now. Sometimes the resentment, the regret of not doing what you're doing or wanting to do in your life, whether it's writing a book, whether it's being a lawyer, whether it's being a doctor. So you wanted to be a lawyer, you wanted to go to law school, but you made the decision to take care of your ailing mother. Within that regret becomes resentment sometimes. Even if you try to hide it, that resentment becomes real. And I'm going to tell you why it becomes real. Because you miss out. And especially if the people that you missed out for are unappreciative, if they're not understanding. We want people to understand that, listen, I gave all of this up for you. So if you guys think about, I'm going to tell you this, I love this movie, Set It Off. Stoney, Jada Pinkett Smith, had to sleep with the grungy, nasty car driver, right? I mean, car salesman. So she slept with him, and then her brother gives her this big disappointment of telling her, listen, I'm not going to college. And she said, do you know what I had to do? Do you know how much money I saved and what I had to do for her? And then the loss of him. That resentment and that anger is that I was trying to get you out the hood, and I've been in that position where I fought for my family, fought for my aunt who couldn't, she took care of us, but she didn't go out. And so as you become an adult, that resentment comes in, and you start to remember. Holidays are hard for me because we didn't do normal things like other people did on the holidays. Mom Cookie would cook a little something, but she ain't going unless she went to Aunt Barbara's house. And if she got mad at Aunt Barbara, we ain't going over to Aunt Barbara's house. So holidays are hard for me because I didn't get to do what normal people do. And so in the process of that, I started to take care of my son who was sick. So there was never ever a level of breaks. Mm-hmm. You know how some people get a break? And they be like, yeah, I get pissed off. I'm going to tell y'all straight up. When people complain because their baby daddies or aunts or uncles is only taking their kids for 2 days. I be like, do you know what the hell I would do for 2 days of freedom? He taking your kids for 2 days? I get absolutely pissed off because it's ungrateful. And let me tell you why. There are people, there are moms, and I speak from what I know, and I'm talking about me, who don't get those opportunities. Very rarely did anybody ever, because I had 6 kids, very rarely did people say to me, Tamara, let me take all 6 of your kids and let you have the weekend off. My mama said, every time I watch your kids, that's $50 a pop. Literally, whether you had it, if you didn't have it, she wasn't watching it. So when I hear people, complaining because their mother or father said no for babysitting, and they don't know what it's like to have to pay for babysitting, I get a straight attitude. I get a straight attitude because you don't even realize how blessed and highly favored you are to have a parent willing to watch your kids. Sandra don't do that. Sandra, she's like, girl, good luck. I'm gonna be praying. You could be in the hospital, and Sandra will be like, girl, good luck. I'm gonna pray for you. Every time she watched my daughter Talissa, and it was Talissa and Alicia, she wanted a check. She wanted it cleared. She wanted to make sure it was cleared. And she wanted to make sure that $5, that $50, and then believe me, it wasn't no $5. And I was 19 at the time. She didn't want to hear about, she wanted her money, and she wanted it before you left out the door. So then for those people who have fathers who take their children for the summer and they get mad, this is an opportunity for you to have freedom. Do you know how hard it is to get somebody to say, yes, I'm going to watch your baby? And you people who have these parents and these grandparents and these uncles and these aunts and these godmothers, you better cherish what you have, because that person is giving up time. People are giving up their time, their energy, and their to do what they need to do for you. And so I am so grateful. I am so grateful for grandparents that are doing it, because here's the thing, and this is a problem for me, because I didn't have a childhood. I didn't really have much of an adulthood. Now that I'm getting into closer and closer to my 50s, I don't know if I'm going to be that grandparent that you could come to every day and drop your kid off. I don't know if I'm going to be good like that, because I have not had a life. So when you have not had a life and you have not partied and you went to clubs and did kind of fun things, when you get 50, I want to be 50 and acting a fool. I really want to act a fool now, but I still have kids here. I want to be 50 and acting a fool. I'm talking about vacations. I'm talking about partying like I had never partied, because I haven't done it. And I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't have the experience. I didn't have it as a teenager. Sandra didn't play that. Or Cookie didn't play that. I had to do, and everything that I did, usually if I did something fun, it was because I was doing it through a leadership camp, and I had to grind to go to those leadership camps. I had to grind to go to Camp Oswegatchie. Believe me, Sandra was like, well, if you want to go, you better figure out how you're going to pay for it. Seriously. You want a bathing suit, you better go work for it. I've worked a long time, and so even when my son got sick, then it was dedicated to taking care of him. And it was crazy. Crazy because I have to be honest, and I'm not ashamed of it. I remember sitting in my counselor's office, and she said, and she took a deep breath. She said, "Can I ask you a question? Do you have some resentment towards your son being sick and your kids?" And my answer was yes. And I know that was, to anybody else it sounds awful, but to a counselor, she was like, "Thank you, God, for being honest." Because I had missed out on so much of my life and my time and my energy and doing things that I wanted to do. I was an author at the time, and I would have to do book writing gigs and stuff like that, and I would have book signings and be invited to speak. And I came to the realization that, yeah, I came to the realization that I was deprived a lot. I was deprived of my time and my energy, and people rarely got to understand that. My time, I was deprived a lot. That I was deprived of things that normal people, because even as a child, where other kids was going outside to play, I was babysitting my brother. And then when my mother had my sister, when my friends was going to the park to hang out or going to the mall or doing whatever they were doing, I was chosen to be at home. So I missed out. And then when I became an adult, I became a parent. And there was a lot of times that I missed out. And I told you, I had a boyfriend that did not take me out like that, honey. He ain't believe in that. So I missed out. I lived vicariously through my friends and through people. And just recently, I had like a little bit of a blow up because I said to my family, I need a vacation. And it was like, oh, you could just go on vacation. You can just do what you want to do. You grown. And if I took that attitude of being grown and not choosing myself, because I lived around some selfish folks. My mama chose herself sometimes. That she know it. It ain't a secret. She chose her. And if I took on her attitude, and believe me, if I know selfishness at its finest. I mean, Sandra be like, well, I know you want to go, but I'm going to the club tonight, so I don't know what you're gonna do. And even now, as an adult, I'm going to church, and my mother doesn't even live here. You sick? I pray for you. You feel what I'm saying? And so people sometimes don't get it because they just think that you can do it. But when you have to, it's responsibility versus reality, right? The responsibility part speaks loud. Well, if I go to the Bahamas, now let me not get it twisted. There's a lot of people who gonna do a big thing for July 4th, and in 3 weeks gonna have their lights shut off. I can't live like that, so I choose to be responsible. And so that's another thing, a part of resentment, and I got to talk about it because people are afraid to just have the discussion. That sometimes you just be like, damn, I got to pay the bills. I want to get my hair done. I want to get my makeup. I want to go and look good. And I want to have sex. But then I have this responsibility part. And sometimes it can lead to feeling like I'm living in regret. That the difficulty is not doing what you wanted to do in the past, and afraid if you do it in the future and in the present, what is the end result? Because if I lived my life the way I chose, I would say, okay, Ruben, you got to go to the hospital. I don't know what you're going to do, right? But I have to choose him because it's not a choice. It's not an option. So when people say sometimes put yourself first, sometimes it's not an option. And let's be real. Sometimes I want to choose me first. Sometimes I want to do some of the things that people have asked me to do, to live my best life and take a break and but sometimes it's not feasible. It's not even realistic. So when we're talking about self-care and we're telling people to do these things, we need to look at the situation first. Because responsibility, if you choose responsibility, a lot of people don't choose responsibility. They be like, you know what, I'm going out partying. I'm going to look good and feel good. If I chose how I felt versus what is reality. This morning, this morning, I said I wanted to go walking, right? I wanted to work out. I know it's hot, but I wanted to work out. But I had to take Ruben to the doctor. I sat at the doctor since it's now, I just got out at about 11:30, 11:45. You know what I'm saying? And when I got out, I realized something. I didn't choose me. And it's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to be honest. I was exhausted. I had been up all night working on logos and fixing things that people asked me to fix and doing, but I wanted to do something else. And the reality is that I chose my family first. See, it doesn't seem fair, but in the process of choosing your family first, it does not always mean that it feels good. I'm going to be real. Now, I can't speak for all these people who say, I just love choosing my family first. Sometimes I want to go out and have sex, right? But I'm choosing to be celibate because I've learned to be patient and wait. But sometimes impatient, it creeps in. Sometimes loneliness creeps in. Sometimes it's so like right now, I just had a conversation. This is exactly what I'm talking about, people. So these are the things that I talk about. And so in the process of dealing with the family, you have everybody tugging at you. You see, the thing about mothers, is that it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of responsibility. And people have put on this thing that you have to do it because, hey, you are MOTHER, mother. Right? You are their mother. People forget that you are a leader in the community, that if you're working a job, that you're wearing all these different hats. But I know that self-care is important, but sometimes there's not enough hours in the day. If I had to be realistic, 24 hours in a day is not enough to complete everything that I have to do. For me. I don't even get 2 hours. Everybody just steal the time. I can't. Well, take a walk. That's not what I want to do. I want to go. I don't want to just take a walk. I want to go hang out with my friends. I want to stop telling my friends that I can't go somewhere because I got to take care of Ruben, or something's going on crazy in this house, or people are showing up, and I'm tired of just denying me. Right? I'm just tired of it. Because that's a part of resentment, and it's a part of being realistic. I keep telling these people not to be loud, but they just have a seriously loud conversation. And then they just look at me like, I don't see what I'm doing wrong. But guys, those are the two difficulties that I've dealt with in my life. And I don't know about anybody else. I can't speak for anybody else. The only person that I can speak for is Tamara. But the one thing I know is that when you living in regret, you are afraid to move forward in your future. Right? And resentment will cause anger, right? You're going to be angry about some stuff. You're not going to always be pleasant. And then when you blow up, like, folks don't understand it. Like, so I said, I need a vacation. And people like, well, just go ahead and take a vacation. Okay. Is it that easy? I want to know if it's that easy. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. Maybe I'm just doing it. But I got obligations and things that people want me to do. So do I choose them or do I choose me? And Lord have mercy. People be like, oh, Tamara, if one more person, and I'm talking about family and friends, say, girl, just go out and chill. But then call me, then text me, and ask me to fix something, I'm going to absolutely scream. How are you telling a person to take a vacation, and then you call them to ask you to do something? That's absolutely stupid to me, right? It is. It's a pet peeve of mine. It's like, don't tell me to take a vacation. Girl, you need to go out and just have fun and stop taking care of everybody else. And then text me like, Tamara, can you do this to me? And I'm going to pay you. I know you going to pay me, but my question is that did you think that I needed a little bit of a break? Did you think I not needed to? Because you just told me to take a break. You just said, girl, choose you. Choose yourself. Go first. I had a client, guy, say to me, if you do this, I'm going to F you up. And then text me and say to me, I know I told you to be on vacation, but I need you to do this for me ASAP. I'm going to pay you. How are you telling me to take a vacation and then asking me to leave my vacation to fulfill your needs? See, we got to watch our words and watch what we're saying to people. Because, and then here's my favorite thing. People want you to go on vacation, but they want you to do what they're doing. For the life of me, I have so many people who do that to me. It's just absolutely insane. Tamara, you want to go chill with me? I be like, yeah, but I want to go, and I'm just making this up. I want to go to a writers conference. I just can't even believe this. I just can't. But they want you to go to a writer's conference. And then they say to you, go, girl, I can't be going to, that's boring. Well, how the hell do you keep telling me that you want me to do what you want to do, and that's not a vacation for me? That's just satisfying what you need. And that's my resentment. That's my regrets. My regrets is that had I took some different things, had I not chose the baby father I chose, had I chose the rich guy, had I did this, had I had a better life, had I. Sometimes the woulda, shoulda, couldas can take over, and then can turn into resentment because you have not confronted them, you have not dealt with them, and you want people to understand. But the reality is, and I've learned this, and I learned this just a few minutes ago, that they're not going to understand that you need a vacation, because what they want you to do is fulfill their needs. So what? You need a vacation. I just need you to fulfill my needs. It's just 8 hours out your day. So what? You work 7 days a week. I need you to take care of me. I need you to fix me. I need you to do it because you couldn't do it 3 weeks ago. People are naturally selfish, right? And you have to learn to be selfish. That's what I'm learning. And that's what I'm having a difficult time adjusting to. Like, dude, I need a break. Well, girl, I know you need a break. I know you've been at the hospital for 4 hours. But listen, you think you could go and paint a house with me today? I mean, those are the things that I deal with on a daily basis. And I had to realize that, how do you carve out, one of the things that I'm struggling with is how do you carve out that time for yourself? How do you really, is it such a thing as having no time to do what you got to do? And how do you say no? Right? I'm still stuck on that. I remember telling my counselor, that is the hardest word for me. No is the hardest word for me. My family, they could see me overwhelmingly trying to sleep. Right? Literally, it's a struggle to sleep in this house. If you live in my house, I hear more noise. That's why I can go to sleep in the middle of a train, because I am used to distraction. That's why I can write under distraction. I'm not saying I write my best work, but there's always something going on here. There's always noise. There's always this. And so I was telling a friend that, and they was like, shh, well, just put them out, right? I mean, that people have so many solutions for your problems until they're in your shoes. You're going to have people tell you a whole bunch of stuff until they're in your shoes. They, and they're going to always want you to fix until you change it. And the one thing that I've learned is you do have to change it. You have to change the pattern. You have to choose you first. And I don't, like I said this morning and I said this afternoon, there's not a crime for you to say that you need a vacation. It's not a crime to want a vacation. And it's not a crime to choose yourself first. And I know that I'm around people who talk about self-care all the time. But I think that they don't understand the circumstances, right? Because unfortunately, I had somewhere to go a week ago and I had to choose my son. If he gets sick, I have to choose him. And it happens more often than I'd like to admit. And I remember one day just planning this outing. I was supposed to go to a retreat in the Poconos. Had my doctor's note, had all my stuff, had medication, backpack, and I kid you not. Before I could walk out the door, I had gotten a call. I had gotten a call and it said, well, Ruben has to go in for an infusion. I said, but I'm supposed to go away for the weekend. It was like, Ruben needs to go in for an infusion. And you have to hide your disappointment, right? Especially for parents of chronic. And I'm like, they was like, well, if you can will you think you can get another parent to do it? And I was like, psst. So I chose him. But it didn't mean that it was easy. It doesn't mean that it's fair. It's just, it is what it is. You have to understand that. That sometimes You choose. But it doesn't always mean that it's fair. That there is going to be some resentment. And people still won't understand it. Well, that's not nice. No, it's not nice, but it's reality. It's not nice that I keep canceling everything that I have to do and that I'm going to always be there forever and a day. But if I cancel what I do for you, can I come home and come home to a quiet house? Can you give me 10 minutes to breathe? Can I take a piss by myself? Because, see, it's got to be somewhere where that person who's the caregiver gets a minute to themselves. That person who's giving them everything, where they can actually understand that, damn, I need to do something right so that person can keep going. So I hope today that I'm able to help somebody who may be dealing with the fact of regret, resentment, and feeling unfulfilled in their personal life. In my career, I feel very fulfilled, right? Because I love what I do. But I'm not too cool with what I'm doing as a parent. So I encourage you today to do what you love. That don't sacrifice yourself so much that you're 55 and full of regret. And so before I end this call, I want to tell you a little story about my Aunt Cookie, who I talked about in the beginning. I think that in the last weeks of her, I realized years later that she died full of regret and feeling unfulfilled. She did not fulfill her purpose. And let me rephrase that. She fulfilled taking care of other people. She took care of my cousin Angie. She took care of me. She took care of my brother. Took care of my sister. Took care of a lot of people, but she did not do the things that was required for herself. She didn't go out and do the things to enjoy life. My cousin initiated it. When my cousin became an adult, she took my Aunt Cookie places and bought her beautiful gifts and took her places to plays, to see Sarah. I think she went to Serafina and do all these different things. But she didn't truly live her life like it was golden. All the stuff that she had did for us, she taking care of us, going out with us, sacrificing. She still did not do the things that fulfilled her. So when she died, it was full of she had some unfulfillment. Her spirit was unrested because she didn't do the things that was meant for her to do for her. Because she was so busy taking care of other people's children. We weren't her babies. We weren't blood related. She took us in as if we was blood. She took us in and took care of us. And even though she had issues and she didn't go outside very much, she waited for somebody to initiate. She did what other people didn't want it to do. So she would call up her father, Mr. McNeil, and it was only guaranteed that they were going to drive while they was drunk. So I don't know how I survived. To this day, I'm telling you, seriously. And he had a stroke and he only could drive with one hand. So and he was paralyzed on his left side and drove a whole entire car. Okay, and he was drunk. So I'm trying to tell you that I lived in some daredevil situations. Okay, so it was guaranteed that she would have to do what he wanted to do. And that he would take her to White Castles. He would get her drunk. And she would do what he wanted to do. Because sometimes when somebody else is in the driver's seat, and I'm not talking about the car, but your life, when we wait for other people to fulfill us, right? We wait for them to give us the keys to the car, the keys to our life, the keys to our happiness, the keys to our peace. You always going to be a passenger in your own personal life. And I'm learning that the hard way, that all these years I was waiting for my children's father. Well, he going to give me what I need. He going to give me the keys and he going to let me drive. This dude that traveled all over the place, lived his life, is still living his life. And I was waiting. And so who was left with regret and resentment? Me. Family and friends. Family and friends. Chilling. Waiting for your children to fulfill you, to give you peace of mind, to applaud you for your hard work, and they don't. Waiting for your clients and your customers, and waiting for the whatever position to give you what you need. I promise you, you will pass the buck out. Okay? You will pass the fuck out and be like, damn it, they ain't get it yet. You'll be passed out, you'll be overweight, you'll be broken, lonely, angry, and horny if you wait for these people to fulfill you. And that is why I talk about Bly Diaries, why I push the initiative, that I can tell my story and share other pieces of people and say, listen, you don't want to be here. There was a difference between my aunt and my uncle. My uncle Khaled died fulfilled. When he found out that he was HIV positive, he went and did a bucket list way before the bucket list existed. And he wrote down 10 things that he wanted to do. The only thing that he did not get a chance to do was take a cruise around the world. He went and did everything he put on that list. A man who was sick, who had HIV, who dealt with tuberculosis, who dealt with all of the things that he dealt with. He lived his life like he was golden. He said, I'm gonna become a Muslim. He did that. He became a Muslim. He said, I'm going back to college. I'm going to get my degree. He went back to college. He said, I'm going to play at Carnegie Hall and Brooklyn Academy. At the time, it was BAM. He played at BAM, playing the flute. He became an alcohol and substance abuse counselor. He did things that he never thought he would do because he said, I did not want to die. I'm going to die from this disease, but I do not want to die from regret. And it's the constant reminder for me to not live in regret. That that we all are going to die, but do I want to die like Aunt Cookie? Or do I want to die like Uncle Khaled, that when he died, he was at peace. And the only thing that he did not do was travel around the world. I have a friend who is an author, and I admire her so much because she said, I'm going to see all 50 states. I'm going to travel around the world once. That she lives her life to the fullest. She's earned it, of course. But I think that's the lesson that I learned from her, that most of us have the opportunities, but we choose. That 10 minutes a day, that 20 minutes is saying, listen, I need you to give me a nurse. I had to say to the doctors today, you can't keep thinking that I can just pop up and not even ask me if I have anything scheduled, which they do want to Ruben need to come in on Tuesday. And I had a parent who was working say, stop them from doing that. Get a support team. Let them give you a nurse. Which they still have not given me, y'all, but that's another story. I need that time. And I'm saying that to y'all because I don't want somebody feeling like me, like I feel today. I felt it. And it was like, when I came home, it was just one person saying one thing, two people actually, and I just blew up and said, okay, so it's a crime that I want a vacation? That I need a break? I mean, my kids think it's a fucking sin. They're like, you want a break? What the fuck's that? Why are you even asking for that? Are you crazy? You don't need a break. A break? What? You're supposed to work 7 days a week. You're supposed to do what we ask you to do. You're supposed to help clean up. You're supposed to do supposed to be by yourself, Mom. You're not supposed to have anything. And then say stuff like, well, go, Mom, we're going to let you rest. And then I promise y'all, it don't even be 10 minutes. 42 people have knocked on my door. 42 people have walked in my room. Literally. That's why I'm trying to save you guys and help you. Because if you don't save yourself, you will get into a point where you be resentful. You do. And so you don't perform well when you're resentful. You don't perform well when you're living in regret. So I hope that I encouraged you today and inspire you to live your life to the best of your abilities. To remove whatever regrets you have, because you can't change the past. I'm still working on that. So I'm not telling you that we can work on this together. Let's remove our regrets. Let's not fear the future. And let's try to find a way where we fit in ourselves and do the things that we love. If you hanging out with a friend and they want you to do what they just want to do, then they might not be the people to hang out. What do you want to do today, Tamara? Even if I don't know. But it happens on a regular... I can't tell you how many times it happens to me. Seriously. So somebody going to listen to this and be real mad at me, but it's the truth. And the only way I can set me free is to really say what I feel. You're going to have that happen. And in the process, I said to God the other day, even though sometimes we ain't cool like that, I said to God, what is it, if whoever you remove from my life, let it be because it is the right thing to do, and let me be at peace with it, because I have to choose me first. So guys, I want to thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to my rant. Thank you for listening to me deal with this issue of regret. That is what we will be talking about all this week. Regret and resentment. That is the power of what I'm dealing with today. Regret and resentment. So again, guys, thank you so much. My name is Tamara Brown. I am an author, blogger, website designer, as well as a publishing consultant and the host of Blah Diaries. Have a good day. Bye-bye.